Hi, welcome guys, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. I'm going to have a little look at some hybrids today, bit of hybrid testing, and I've got TaylorMade M6, I've got the Callaway Apex, and then I've also got the Cobra F9. So they're all three hybrids, they're all around that sort of 19, 20 degrees sort of area. I'm going to put them head to head on GC Quad, give you some feedback on some numbers, see how maybe these launches possibly differ, a little bit of feedback from me personally in terms of ease of use and which maybe I sort of prefer, and give you guys a little bit of idea of possibly a hybrid that you might go out there and test yourselves. Okay, so into that hybrid, typically a club that are going to replace that long iron with a lot easier to use for many golfers out of many various lies that you get faced with on the golf course. So very, very popular option. And obviously there's a lot of loft options as well to work into gapping through your set depending on what your longest iron is. And obviously you've got to go and do that through a fitting process. I'm going to hit these all against each other. So I've got, I'm going to start off with the Cobra SpeedBack F9, the baffless. It's got the two baffler rails on there. It's got a tungsten 15 gram weight in the sole, and quite a nice looking golf club, to be honest. So again, this is 19 degrees of loft. Got myself set out around 225 from the green. Okay. A little bit of a heavy contact, that first one, but looks really good, nice behind the golf ball does this particular Cobra, with that sort of really matte black finish. Very nice sort of shaping of the head, and I quite like that baffler sort of sole system there. Definitely sort of, for me, it like stabilizes the head a little bit more as it cuts through the ground with those two rails that run from the front to the back of the sole. Just seems to sort of stabilize that head and just keep it square as it goes through that turf. That was a better shot, a bit more neutral there. Lovely flight, very easy to pick off the ground there. Nice sound to that as well. So that's just running towards the back of that green. Oh, that's a hooky one left. That's two that I've really hit left. Bit toey on that strike. And that tends to be a little bit of a weak miss really, or a strong miss should I say, hooking it sort of left with that hybrid. Tend to sort of see that a little bit more. That's a real big miss left, that one. It's one of the reasons why I don't particularly play hybrids myself. That's a nicer shot. Very easy to pick off that ground. Definitely want to sort of look, if you're just struggling to maybe launch that long iron, definitely work a hybrid into that sort of equation. Okay, let's hit one more with this before we move on to the next one. Yeah, it's good, feels nice. A couple of real left ones in there for me, which again, as I say, one of the reasons why I don't particularly play a hybrid, but obviously that's a little bit more me really, and probably a little bit of the higher sort of more upright tense setting of we see in a hybrid, a bit more of that draw sort of bias. So let's switch over, let's go into the M6 Rescue now and we'll hit some shots with that. Okay, so now M6 hybrid in our hands. It's again number 3 hybrid. This is a 19 degrees, so exactly the same as the Cobra, but obviously a very different look when we're putting that down with the golf ball. We've got a silver strip, as we know, with the TaylorMade M5, M6 products. We've got that sort of matte black back section here. Sits really nice, looks very sort of forgiving, looks to be a lot of loft on there, and sits quite square, to be honest. So very nice looking club when you present that down by the golf ball. And obviously this year we've got the introduction of twist face in the hybrid as well. Let's just get this first one hit. Okay, a little bit of a different sound to that compared to the Cobra. Just a little bit on that right hand side, so that didn't go left there for me. Yeah, a little bit more sort of muted on the sound there, which I quite like. That's a little bit bottomy, a little pulley there, but again, it's flighted quite nicely. Just getting that left edge of the green. That was definitely a bit more of that low heel connection, but that seemed to fly pretty well for that miss strike. Maybe just showing that a little bit of forgiveness. It's a lovely shot. Yeah, it feels much better. I prefer that feel against the Cobra there. That was, again, it's that sound, much more muted. Flight looks really strong, but high. So it's not like a climbing sort of flight. I'm interested to look at the spin number between those two. A bit more of a powerful sort of flight with the M6. So I think for that golfer, maybe looking for that penetration, but still wants that higher ball flight, possibly M6, could be a very good option. A little bit on that left side again, that's a lovely feel to it. Yeah, just pulled that, but not really hooky. That was just a bit more of a pull than really sort of a big overdraw that I saw a little bit with the Cobra. So I really just started to feel a bit more comfortable with the M6 against Cobra. I'm not saying the Cobra's a bad club by any means, but I think just with those 5 shots I'm hitting there, definitely feels like a little bit more of a, well, I feel a little bit more comfortable with the TaylorMade against that F9 Cobra. And that was a little bit of a low one in the face, but that's, again, it's flown pretty neutral and still hit the desired distance. So yeah, liking that, liking the sound of that M6. The flight looks really, really nice. Seems to be really forgiving as well, and maybe just not as many left misses there against that Cobra. So let's switch into the Callaway Apex. Okay, so jumping into the Callaway Apex Hybrid. So slightly different to those other two we just tried in terms of the head shape. We've got a little bit more of a compact front to back section, a little bit of a deeper face, a little bit of a higher toe section, this particular hybrid. So slightly different shaping than what we've maybe just seen in the first two. Now this is a 20 degree, so it's 1 degree more loft than what we've seen in the F9 and the M6, but maybe just sort of counteracting that with that slightly more compact head, maybe just sort of get this launch and maybe just a touch lower, maybe into a similar sort of area that we've seen with those 19 degrees there. But we'll soon see. Let's hit the first one. Again, really nice sort of look behind the golf ball. This looks a bit more appealing to my eye behind the golf ball than the other two. Okay, and that was quite a high flight, that first shot anyway. Pretty neutral and pretty high on the ball flight. So maybe expecting to see, I'm going to say this now, I'm probably tee myself up here, but I'm probably going to feel like I'm not going to hit as many left shots with this type of head maybe than those other two. We'll soon see, obviously. The first one definitely suggested that. Yeah, again, that's a little bit up that right hand side. Super strike there. Just catching that right side of the green. Okay, again, nice sound with that. Definitely, maybe not quite as good as that M6 sound, but is a very nice sort of positive sound to that. Looks good and it feels very nice off the club face. I've ripped that. Yeah, that is quite a penetrating flight. That was a better strike there. That was very penetrating. Probably just see that just go a little bit further there on that carry, just running through the back of that green. That particular shot, nice and neutral again. We're not seeing that left one at the moment. Okay, there's a little necky one. So I started to touch left and just cut off a little bit more back to target. Again, still done all right, just lost that little bit of carry distance purely through strike, but accurate again. So this is definitely looking to be the more accurate one of the three. Okay, let's hit one more shot. Again, just a tiny bit necky, but it's flown really well. There we go, so there's that one just dropping off when I hit that little low heely sort of strike. Okay, so there's the three hybrids hit. Let's go look at some numbers a little bit more detail and see how they are performing. Okay, so let's look at some numbers a little bit more detail. So we've got the Cobra to look at first. So we see the ball speed averaging at 139, launching around that 11 mark, 3.5 spin area, and that was carrying out at 215, peaking at 27 yards in height. Okay, so then we'll just look at that against the TaylorMade. So we can see a 142, so a little bit increase of ball speed, same loft there. Felt a little bit more comfortable with that, so probably just got to strike a little bit better with that, in all fairness. Launching a touch lower there at 10 degree. Again, very similar spin at 3.5 sort of number, and that's peaking then at 27 again. So very, very similar on the height, but a little bit more distance through that extra sort of ball speed, so carrying out at 223. So just moving that on into the Callaway as a reference there, so 139.4. So back to similar to what we saw with the Cobra, launching at 11.9, again similar to that Cobra. Spin 3.6, again in that sort of 3.5 area, peaking out at 30, so a little bit higher on that Callaway flight there. The first one's quite a high one, you see at 34. Last couple I caught a little bit lower in that heel section, see that just pulls that peak height down a little bit, and averaging there at 219. So clearly the M6 just going that little bit further, just a little bit more of that ball speed through the M6, but all the numbers are very, very similar through that spin, and that obviously that carry is just different a little bit there, just because of that extra ball speed gain with the M6. Okay guys, so there we go. There's 3 maybe popular hybrids for you guys to go out there and maybe put on your radar to go and test. I say early in the video, it's important to go and get fitted for these. Obviously get the right loft to sit in with the irons, or the longest iron that you're sort of playing in the bag, to get that gapping right through the set. And obviously finding one that is going to give you that look and that shape that you're sort of looking for through that launch angle, and maybe that left to right dispersion there. Clearly, you know, I'm not saying that F9 is a bad club by any means. It's a very good club, but for me in that particular test, I missed that more left, so that scares me a little bit. So for me, if I'm in the fitting process, I'll be sort of taking that one out of the equation. Obviously the other two are a little bit more accurate there, probably the Callaway a little bit more accurate than the Maul, and maybe just that little bit more distance with the M6. So again, it depends what is more important to you as a player in terms of what you'd want. So again, my message to you, as always, is go and get fit, try these out, try them against each other in one session. Sometimes what I find is a lot of golfers will come and they'll go and try one day, then next week they'll go and try another one. And in all fairness, you're swinging slightly different, aren't you? The body might be just slightly different. You know, some days we swing better than other days, some teams will just feel better than other days, and timing plays a little bit of a factor in that as well. So very difficult to make a judgment when you're spreading out those trial sort of sessions. So get them all into one environment, one session, hit them against each other, measure it as well, and then you've got a really good comparison against each other when you come to make that decision as to which one you're going to purchase. Okay, thanks for watching the videos as always, guys. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Very much appreciate it. Allows me to get much more content out for you guys. So ring the bell icon also, so as soon as the video goes live, you'll be one of the very first ones to watch it. Follow up on my social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.